Hello there, what's going on, everybody? Doing a live stream, a little bit of live streaming, and gonna do some Q&A and just kind of talk about everything that's coming up soon. So yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see. There we go. Just sending out some links. All right. So I hope you guys are doing all right tonight. How was your week? Hopefully you guys had a good week. It's been a pretty good week for me. Pretty good week. Let's see. There, and I ordered some new business cards. Or cards, I guess. I don't know if you really... This is a business or what this is, but I got some new cards coming. I don't know if any of you guys, if you've ever run into me like at a con or whatever, I have like these are like the cards I have, and they're really cheap. Like this was like a Vista print, 500 cards for $4.99 or something like that. And they have lightsaber nunchucks on them, but they're really low res. Like I don't know if you can see, but they're really pixelated on the business card, right? Like it was terrible. So, oh, now we're out of focus. Come on, get back in focus. Refocus. There we go. All right. Anyway, but yeah, so I got new cards coming, new and improved. Very cool. I spent a lot of money on these, but they're going to be double-sided. They're going to have some cool stuff on them. So, if you happen to bump into me, then maybe I'll have some on me. But yeah, let's see. All right, so am I going to get any more Force FX lightsabers? I mean, if any new ones come out, probably. Like I kind of wanted the Darth Vader one, kind of wanted the Luke Skywalker one. I was kind of in between on the green one because I don't have any green ones right now. So if I saw one of those, I'd probably get it. I actually saw the Darth Vader one in Disney Springs. So I live in Orlando. There's a free area of Disney you can just go to. That's where they have the Void, the Secrets of the Empire VR thing. They have gift shops down there, and some they have like sometimes Disney Store exclusives, and they didn't have Zuckuss from the Black Series. I was looking for that, but they have some lightsabers. Now it's weird because they're almost exactly the same as the Star Wars Black Series Force Effects lightsabers, but they don't have the word the Black Series on them. They're just like Star Wars lightsabers, but like the text, the font, it's almost completely identical, exact same price point and everything too. But I didn't buy it because I had the Vader one. It was $170, so full MSRP of what they cost. I was like, what if it's just not as good? Like maybe it's. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be a knockoff, but what if it was just had Mickey Mouse ears on it, or like it played a little like It's a Small World when you turned it on, or something like that. I didn't want to get home and it just be like, oh well, this was a special version that you can only get at the and like I want kind of like the good one, But yeah, so I mean, as they do more, I'll probably get more. There's certain ones that I'd really like. I wouldn't mind Qui-Gon's. Qui-Gon's would be a really cool one. Kind of wants to. I think what I'm gonna do. I think I may end up doing some Ultra Sabers or Saber Forge, or like some like the mystery grab bag ones, and kind of compare those. And I might do stuff like that. That would be kind of fun because I'm kind of thinking about doing some like lightsaber fighting with my kids, and I don't want to use the Hasbro Black Series ones for that. I want to get some more dueling sabers so I can beat the heck out of my kids and not break my saber. I'm kidding. But yes, let's see. So we got Adepticon coming up. There's going to be some panels for that. They're going to be talking about new stuff. That's exciting. There's going to be some panels at Star Wars Celebration. I think one thing that will happen is I think Death Troopers are going to be out by Star Wars Celebration. If not, then I'm sure they will have them there, because if they're going to be doing the Battle of Scarif, you kind of need Death Troopers. I mean, what do they have that's even there? Like, you gotta have Krennic, right? You gotta have Death Troopers. Neither one of them are out yet. You got Stormtroopers, that's fine. Maybe a couple of Scout Troopers, but I mean, the other stuff just wouldn't work there. Your Hoth Troopers aren't going to work there. Your Royal Guard don't really make much sense there. Vader, I mean, you can put Vader there. I guess he was present. He was just above the planet. Where does my name come from? Comes from, I used to play. It was a character I used to play in EverQuest. Where do lightsaber nunchucks come from? Well, it's kind of my own thing. It's my creation. It's lightsaber nunchucks. No, both of those two questions are related. So I used to play a bruiser in EverQuest 2 named Crabbok, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with EverQuest or any of the EverQuest games, but they always had these like epic weapons that you could get for your class, and it was this big long quest, and the bruiser epic weapon was like, we didn't know what it was going to look like, and I always thought it was going to be nunchucks, because I thought that would have been a really cool. The class was like a brawler, and you would, nunchucks would have been they were martial arts, but they were also back alley brawler, and I figured nunchucks would have been like the perfect type of weapon for that class, and it didn't. It was some kind of fist spike with a scorpion tail on it. It was cool, but it wasn't. Nunchucks would have been better, and they never did nunchucks in that game. I always wanted nunchucks, and so I just and I always really liked Thundercats and Panthro. Panthro was my favorite. Granted, Donatello was my favorite Ninja Turtle, but now it's Michelangelo. Or just nunchucks have grown on me. It's become my thing. I think nunchucks are pretty butt kicking weapon. Do you have any Black Series figures? I have a lot of Black Series figures. Awful. I do reviews on Black Series figures. I've got a playlist called Collectibles, and yeah, I have a lot of. Just search for Crabbok Black Series or Crabbok Collectibles. I haven't done reviews on most of my Blacks. I've only recently started doing reviews on Black Series figures, but I've got a lot of Black Series figures. I would say almost all of them, but there's certain ones that I don't collect. I don't get. Like a lot of the sequel. Ever since like Disney took over, I haven't been buying as many. I had all of them up until The Force Awakens, and then like that's when I started saying, all right, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to get this one. I'm not going to get that one. Let's see. Did they release a Yoda saber? Not in this new line. I believe there was a like Master Replicas Yoda saber. I know I've seen a video of one, because I know there's a video out there of somebody joining the Yoda saber to the Darth Maul saber, and they fit. So I'm actually interested in taking in a Yoda saber, but they do not have one currently. You can currently get. What do you think of the TIE Echelon? I think that's the carrier, right? I gotta look that one up again. It was in the Galaxy's Edge preview. I've been really busy today. I actually just sat down. Been a busy day. I had to put up a ceiling fan today, amongst other things, and I hate, like seriously hate, seriously hate putting up ceiling fans, but I got roped into putting up a ceiling fan today. It took me much longer than it should have, because screws were falling and I lost pieces, and I had to crawling on the floor, and the dog is jumping all over me, and it was just. So now I'm relaxed. I'm sitting down, chatting with you guys. So anyway, but no, I haven't looked at the TIE Echelon as much. But I mean, I saw just a little bit of it. I saw some discussion about it, and it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more. Can I get the Ki Adi Mundi Force FX lightsaber? There is not one out of the current line. I mean, the only ones they have out of the current line are Episode 4 Luke and than Rey's, so it's the same one, but one is newer, one is older. They made a slight change to Rey's versus Episode 4 Luke's. I have the Episode 4 Luke one. Vader. Darth Maul, Mace Windu, Episode 6 Luke, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 1 Obi-Wan, and I think that's it. I think it's just those. No, or maybe there's 8. I don't know, but I don't think they have a Ki-Adi-Mundi one right now to the current line. Have I gotten a chance to play with Jin and the Pathfinders in Legion? Well, there's actually a battle report that'll probably be coming out tomorrow. It's live right now for patrons, and so if you are on my Patreon, you've already seen it. But I do have a battle report coming up with featuring Jin and the Pathfinders. All in all, I think they're good. I don't know if they're super good. My general thoughts: I think Death Troopers are going to be way better, but I think Pathfinders are a good unit. I'm not 100% sure. Like, the big problem with the whole, like, one of the coolest things about Pathfinders is that you can just deploy them pretty much anywhere you want. And while that's cool, that can get them killed. If you deploy them a little bit too close, then they can just be instantly dead. And so that's a risk, all right? So I think using them well is going to take a learning curve. I think the key is putting them somewhere where they're close to an objective, but very, very well protected, so that you don't have to worry about them activating, any like too soon or anything like that. And the same principle with Jin. Have I played Anakin in Battlefront 2 yet? No. I'm probably going to patch Battlefront 2 after this. I don't play Battlefront 2 enough to earn a whole lot of credits, so I probably would have to unlock Anakin unless I was just playing him in the arcade mode. But I might do that. That'd make I might do a video of just kind of like a playthrough, testing him out. At what age did I start playing miniatures games? Not long before I started making videos for this channel. My first miniatures game was X-Wing, and so I was in my mid-30s. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the FFG shotgun increase on Dormits and the Upsilon shuttle and hyperspace tracking? I know that I honestly haven't paid any attention to what's going on in X-Wing lately, like with the meta. I am completely zoned out of X-Wing until clones come out, and that's when I plan to start playing again. But I did see somebody say that, like, there was basically this problem where everybody was running Upsilons or triple Upsilons. It was like basically like a cancer list, and I guess they nerfed that, so you can't do that anymore. So that sounds like they did a good thing, but I can't really provide any in-depth analysis because I haven't played against that. And I apologize for not having better insight. But like, X-Wing has been a pet peeve of mine lately, so I'm hoping Clone Wars just kind of revitalizes it for me. And the whole second edition launch, I've been a little miffed about that for a while. Still a great game. I'm annoyed at silly little mistakes with X-Wing. All right, let's see. Oh, I missed some. I probably missed a couple of these. We'll just kind of pull them out as I. Have I ever trained in nunchucks? No. As much of an enthusiast as I am about nunchucks, you'd think I'd know how to use them, but I have nunchucks and I occasionally swing them around. But the problem is, I'm very busy. And I know a lot of people think that they're busy, but I really do have a lot going on between a regular job, all of the stuff for this channel, a wife, 3 kids, chores around the house and stuff. And so, like I don't really even have any room to really practice nunchucks without hitting somebody or something. I could go in the backyard, but I'm going to end up hitting the dog or hitting one of my kids. Can't have that. I could do it in the garage, but then I hit the car, so I can't do that. I can go out in the driveway in the front, and I've tried to do it out there before, just kind of practice, because I've watched some videos, and so I understand like basic stuff, so I can do a little bit with nunchucks, but not not anything impressive, not anything that, you know, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. And so, you know, like I feel weird trying to like practice nunchucks in the driveway. I feel like I'm a 13-year-old doing it, and I guess maybe there shouldn't be too much shame in that. I'm just afraid somebody's gonna pull out a camcorder and be like, hey, look what this idiot's doing. Woo, you know, like. But yeah, and I have hit myself in the head before. I need to get like some rubber chucks so I can practice with them a little bit better, because mine are like hard plastic or almost, you know, something like that. So I've trained, but not like properly. What Clone Wars ships are you looking forward to seeing if we get a Clone Wars Armada? Oh boy, the Lucre Hulk I think is oddly enough the one I'm most excited about, because I think it's one that may be one of the lesser obvious ships, because it's at a weird size increment. So I'm really curious, like how, like a lot of the ships from the Clone Wars, you can just easily see them doing it and easily see roughly how they would do it. Like I can easily see Venators, I can easily see Architans for the Republic, I can easily see a lot of the Separatist ships, and I can even easily see the Malevolence being a huge ship. But what I'm not sure is where the Lucre Hulk fits into that. Like how big it would be. Would it have two bases? Would it be a huge ship or would it be a large ship? I'm curious what they will do. Would it be two bases side by side? Like how would they physically construct it? I'm more interested in like the mechanics of how it's going to fit into the game and how it's going to look and how its base will be, what size class it will be. Obviously, we know, like stat-wise, it would be a carrier. It'd be kind of like the Quasar for the for the Separatists, but it should be like, you know, better than a better carrier. It should be like the best carrier in the game, at least the best carrier for clone ships. Like it may have the ability to, you know, go beyond range 5. It may have, you know, like it may have like 3, you know, squadron upgrades. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It may not be good for activating aces, though. It may be good for only activating like generic squads. It may have like titles that say like you can activate your squadron value is increased by 3, but you may not activate unique squadrons. You know, things like that. That would be a kind of a cool way for it to be maybe not the best carrier ever, but the best carrier for droid fighters. You know. But yeah, I think the Lucre Hulk will be interesting. And granted, this is coming from a guy who doesn't even like squadrons. Do you think that all the recent Deep Armada sales are a sign of X-Wing or Armada 2.0 coming? No. I think there's a little bit of concern. I think some of the stuff isn't as in demand, like the interdictors being on sale and the victories. Those are things that people don't want. Look at what you would spend for an Architans. Architans aren't on sale. Like the stuff that's in demand isn't on sale on Amazon. Rebel Fighters and Imperial Fighter 1s are coming back in, though, so you can get your fighter packs. I think they're actually in stock right now. I think they're in stock right now on ffg.com, so I saw some pictures of that. So that's kind of cool. It's been a long wait for those. Do you think the recent... what's the likelihood of a Legion AT-AT now? Here's what I think. I think we're going to have to wait and see until mid-April. Reason being, Fantasy Flight is doing an epic Legion diorama at Star Wars Celebration. And this is cool because one of the things they're going to have is a paint station. And there's going to be a lot of stuff dealing with painting. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I know they're going to have a paint station and where you can paint. I also know that they're having a couple of artists there. Darren Tan, who isn't really a mini painter, he's more of a portrait painter, is going to be there. But so is Sarastro, Mike Sarastro. I think his name's Mike Sarastro. But Sarastro is going to be there, right? And he's going to be giving a panel too. But like, they're going to have painters there. So part of the thing is that you're going to be able to paint minis and go put them on the diorama. And I think you can take them with you when you leave. I'm not sure exactly how that whole mechanics of that are going to work, because it's going to be hard. If enough people do it, are you going to be able to know which one was yours? By the way, I will be covering that. So I will definitely, you know, like get some footage of like the diorama before and then mid and then after, and I'll try to save all that footage and like upload that at the end. Like that would be cool. That would be fun. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because, pardon me for drinking coffee. I haven't had a chance to sit down and drink anything up until now. It's been a busy day. But anyway, yeah. So one of the reasons I think that we have to wait and see is because if they're doing the Battle of Scarif, we had walkers at the Battle of Scarif. So if they were going to unveil an AT-AT or an AT-AT or an Imperial Walker, whatever you want to call it, I call it the AT-AT. If they were going to unveil an AT-AT, that would be the time to do it. And what may happen is they may not actually unveil the AT-AT for Legion. What they may do is just unveil somebody who craft like a one-of-a-kind AT-AT. FFG will do one-of-a-kind things. Look at their terrain tables. Those are all contracted, you know, and somebody will create that for them. They could have had somebody 3D print one and just brought it, you know, maybe two would be good. And actually they would be AT-ACTs, right? Because the orange panels from, if you're doing Scarif from Rogue One, it would be that. But yes, that would be awesome. Oh man, dude. It's gonna look cool. I'm super excited. Like Legion is fun, man. I've been playing a lot of Legion. I'm actually getting a little Legioned out for the time being. I'm like, all right, I want to play more Armada. I want to, you know, and hopefully Clone Wars will come out, I assume, for X-Wing. But I want to play more board games too. Like I just picked up Twilight Imperium 4th edition. Really want to play that. I picked it up and oh, I got a gnat in here. But I haven't played it yet, and I really want to play. I mean, I played Twilight Imperium before, but I haven't played 4th edition yet. You know, it's been out for a while. I just, you know, happen to decide. Like I played a different 4X just recently with a friend, and it made me want to play more 4X games. Because here's the thing, like one of the things I always talk about, like if they do an Armada 2.0, or one of the things I'd love is for our like a tabletop game to be more truly multiplayer. And I just don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think we're going to get a mini wargaming game to be designed to be multiplayer. But you know what is designed to be multiplayer? A game like Twilight Imperium. I mean, because that one, you're building an Armada. You're going to have more ships in the Twilight Imperium than you do in Armada. That one's truly multiplayer. It plays up to 6. And it's designed for that. That's the whole, you know, you can't play it with only 2 players. Well, there are 2-player variants, but like that's like multiplayer wargaming, like a 4X, you know. Let me see. I will look up the echelon. Yeah, if you want to email me with the pictures, you can email me at mailcrabbok@gmail.com if you want. MAILCRABBOK. I'll take a look. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, I'm sure they're probably still out there, but if Disney is trying to get them taken down, I may not actually show them in a video, but maybe I'll do a video we'll talk about the TIE echelon. That's a good idea. Thanks for the thanks Nerf Herder for the suggestion. Inferno Squad in Legion. That's a great idea. I would absolutely love that. I would love that. And with different heads too, so you can do them like with the regular heads, or you can have them their helmets on. I would probably do them with their helmets on, because like Hask and all these other guys, I'm like, okay, I've seen them in the videos, and they model the video game after the real faces. But the only one I would probably do with the helmet off would be Janina Gavankar. I mean, Iden Versio. Janina Gavankar is lovely, by the way. All right. Do you think the Rebels for Armada will get the Phoenix Nest? I don't know. I don't think so. Because like if they were gonna do that, they would have given the Rebels in X-Wing the Tidarium, right? I mean, stolen ship. They don't really. I mean, they don't need to do that. The Rebels already have plenty of good carriers, and if they were gonna do that, I think I did a Phoenix Nest title for the nunchuck expansion. So I don't have it in front of me right now, but Yeah, I basically did one, but the problem was I did it so you could have it thematically, but the Rebels already have good carriers. Assault Frigate's pretty good, but they have the Avaris, all right? And so you're like, all right, the Rebels have maybe one of the most potent, maybe the most potent carrier in the game. And so, plus they have support officers like Adar Talon, and you know, so it becomes a really tricky thing of like, do we also give them the Quasar, which was like the, you know, the most well-rounded, like I think it's the best carrier in the game, the Quasar is, because the way it can be configured, you can get double weapons team, which just gives you a lot of really cool options. It's my favorite carrier, but you know, like the Rebels did have one, right? They had it so much of the time. Now, granted, one of the things I've always house ruled is like you can just run an assault frigate and put the Quasar on the model. This way, you still have a medium base, and you're running the stats for an assault frigate. But if you just want to thematically have, you know, the image of a Quasar there in your Rebel list, you know, that's fine. You know, you're just doing that for a theme, and it's not affecting gameplay. That's totally cool. But if you wanted to run a title, I made a Phoenix Nest title, but I dumbed it down with the idea of like, okay, fine, you can have the Quasar, but you can't have it as good as the Imperial's Quasar. The mentality behind this is that the ship was damaged when the Rebels seized it, right? During the attack, some of the hangar bays were blown up. I think I gave it like -2 squadron capacity or something like that. What has been peeving you about X-Wing? Oh, I did a whole video about it, but it's like there's little things like really the one thing that annoys me the most is the front arc symbol, and I did a whole video about my pet peeve for X-Wing 2.0, and it's that front arc symbol, how it can potentially mean 3 different things depending on the context. It can mean an enemy that happens to be within a ship's front arc. It can be a primary weapon only, or it can be any weapon that happens to shoot out of your front arc. So if you have a turret pointed forward, that can trigger some front arc symbols on cards, but other ones it can't. You know, like things like outmaneuver being built into the RZ2 A-Wing on one of the quick builds, but according to the FAQ, the RZ2 A-Wing can't use outmaneuver, can't possibly benefit from. Not that it can't equip it, but that it's illegal for it to gain that benefit. So why is, you know, little things like that, like they should have taken more time with it, and I think they should have had different. And also like things like with some of the 2.0 packs, like the Y-Wing not having a target lock, or the expansion pack, or the conversion kits not coming with shields tokens. Little things that really should, you know, FFG can do better. I felt like a lot of that was rushed, and so it's annoyed me. And hopefully Wave 3 will be more ironed out, more streamlined, more tighter, you know, more reminiscent of the quality of product that Fantasy Flight has always put out. Who is your favorite Star Wars character? Thrawn. That's a close one, but I think I have to give it to Thrawn. He's got I think I have the most Thrawn, or the most out of like all the Star Wars characters I have for T-shirts. I do have a lot of Darth Vader T-shirts. And I have at least 2 shirts that have Boba Fett on them too, but I also have 2 Thrawn shirts. Well, I count this as a Thrawn shirt because it's the Chimera. But yeah, Thrawn is got to be my favorite Star Wars character. But it's a really tough one because there's certain characters that I just really, really like for various different reasons, for various different areas and timelines, and like I really like Mace Windu from the prequel trilogy. I really like Finn from the sequel trilogy, or at least Episode 7 Finn. Finn with a lightsaber, I really, really like. I want to see more of Finn with a lightsaber. And I really, really like Ahsoka from the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War. Right? I really like Ahsoka. There's a lot of... but what's cool about Thrawn is I liked the EU version and also the new canon version is exciting too. So there's a lot. So Thrawn gives me the most hype. I also really like from some of the books. Ray Sloan. I want to see more of Ray Sloan. She's like my favorite First Order person right now, I guess. And I'm really anxious. If I'm going to be a little bit meta, I really want to like Ben Solo. I guess I want a redeemed Kylo Ren in a good, meaningful way. Like I want a redemption story for Kylo Ren, for Ben Solo to come back that feels really good. Like not like how Anakin fell to the dark side like way too quickly and it didn't make sense. I don't want a redemption that's equally way too quickly and doesn't make sense. I want a redemption story that you can feel, because I feel like JJ set it up in episode 7 that Kylo Ren was already being pulled back to the light. And then episode 8, it was like, I don't know it's like there was some misdirection there. I don't know what they did in episode 8 with that. But that's one of the problems with 8, is that a lot of the direction that 7 was going, 8 went, oh, well, let's go this way. And then so now 9 is going to be like, all right, no, we were going this way. That's the pitfall of it. Still like 8 on its own. I really like it. It's just that I have nitpicks with it too, and that's maybe the biggest overall nitpick, is that different directors had very different direction, and it should have had one vision, one cohesive vision for the entire trilogy. I would have liked that better. How do you see them handling arcs for the Luke or Hulk? Well, they could. I mean, that I don't think the circular shape would matter too much. I think you could just give it a normal rectangular base and give it like a fairly even arc system. I don't really know enough about the Luke or Hulk, like where the guns are, and I think it'd probably be pretty even though. I think it'd be kind of symmetrical, just like a straight X. That's kind of what I think. Prequels or sequels, and why? Sequels. Sequels, absolutely. First off, I will tell you why. A lot of us have forgotten how much we didn't like the prequels. I admit I did not. Well, I've gone through phases with the prequels, and the first phase was in the movie theater watching them, thinking, "Hey, this is the last Star Wars we're ever going to get." I was over the moon. I had a great time watching these movies when I was in the theater. And then later on, I was still young when the prequels came out, but I remember then seeing everybody oh, blah blah blah, and there were certain things that made me realize, the prequels weren't that good, especially episode 2. There was a lot I didn't enjoy about it, like the whole love story arc. I didn't get sold on it, and I never got sold on the idea that Anakin and Obi-Wan were friends. And he was everything Obi-Wan tells to Luke in the original trilogy didn't make sense in the Clone Wars. He was a good friend, and when I met him, he was already a great pilot. But I was amazed at how the Force flowed through him. Really? Were you amazed? Because I don't feel Qui-Gon met him, and Qui-Gon was kind of amazed, and then Obi-Wan got an email about him. It's according to this email, those midi-chlorians are really high. So, I had a lot of gripes with the prequels once I had the fun factor wore off and you could sit down and analyze them. There was a lot of things I wasn't happy with. But that's okay. It was what it was. They've grown on me over time, and I've come to appreciate a lot of things I dismissed, like a lot of the quotes and memes. There's a lot of fun you can have with the prequels, and so they're beloved to me now, after all of this time. But the sequels are something special to me, because the sequels are unwritten. The future, their destiny is unwritten. You knew what was going to happen to Obi-Wan and Anakin, right? You go into the prequels kind of knowing, all right, these guys are going to be okay. We know what's going to happen to them for the most part. Oh, this Palpatine guy, we know what's going to happen to him. Yoda's not going to die. You know, you know all of this stuff. But in these movies, you don't know. In the sequel, there's, you know, it hasn't been written yet. So you're going to go sit in the movie theater not having any idea what could happen. Like, I didn't expect Luke was going to die in episode 8 and Leia was going to survive. I had no idea. I was like blown away. And that was also one of the things I initially didn't like about 8 was like, wait a second. No. They should have been the other way around. It should have been the other way around, you know. And so being able to be surprised like that on a level that you can't be surprised in another, you know, in a backstory. I don't like backstories as much. It's hard for a backstory to really work with me. Rogue One was able to pull it off. Rogue One had a lot of other things outside of the fact that it was a backstory. Rogue One had a lot of really great stuff, specifically the last 20 minutes. I mean, that space battle still gives me chills. I absolutely love the space battle. So, but also I'm expecting a really great space battle in episode 9. But yeah, so that's why I like the sequel better, because not knowing what's going to happen has so much impact on me as a viewer. As a moviegoer, I like to sit on the edge of my seat and say, tell me the story. You know, like I love that. Even bad movies I can really enjoy, and so I definitely get this whole sense of wondering what's going to happen next. Even if it's not written as well, and if it's not a great film, not Oscar worthy or whatever, you know, because there's all kinds of criticism about these movies, and I'm sure there will be about episode 9 also. That doesn't matter to me, because I'm going to go in there as a Star Wars fan, as a kid again, in wondering what story they're going to tell me. Whereas in the prequels, there was a lot about the story you already knew. And so it was a little bit less wonderment and a little more, you know, like, oh, I wonder what the intricacies of this and that person's relationship are going to be, you know, whereas now it could be like, hey, we're going to destroy entire solar systems, you know, like, granted, I'm not saying they have to do that, but the fact that they can, I mean, Tatooine could get blown up in episode 9, in theory. I mean, that's a core planet, or not a core, it's not a core world physically, but it's a recognizable world. I don't think they'll do that, but not knowing is really exciting to me. So sequels are way more exciting to me, even though there have been some missteps. And it's really interesting to me with the sequels to see what the public's take on the sequels is going to be in 10 years, in 15 years, once they have faded from being new movies to being old movies, or maybe even classics at some point. Well, kind of like where the prequels are now. You know, a lot of us look at the prequels a lot better than we used to, and I certainly am one who does that. Let's see. Fighter ones are already sold out on FFG. Are you sure? Because they just went in stock. I gotta go. All right, so I'm gonna go to fantasyflight.com and we're gonna check. I'm gonna check their products. Star Wars. I'm checking now. We're gonna go and let's see, Star Wars Armada and expansions. Wow, the Fighter 1 packs sold out instantly. They only went up like a few hours ago. They're already completely sold out. That should tell them that there's demand for Armada. Oh my gosh, guys. Didn't the same thing happen with the Architans? Like, as soon as they ordered it and it came back, what is going on? I'm going to have a talk with some people at Celebration. Because they don't respond to emails anymore, so I have to pretty much talk to people in person. Curious to know my thoughts on the rumored Fallen Order game. I'm not sure if I've already discussed it. I have not discussed it tonight. So Fallen Order, well, it's not really rumored. It's definitely getting announced in April. You're going to get your first look at it at Star Wars Celebration. We don't know a whole lot about it. It takes place after Episode 3. You're going to be a Padawan who escaped Order 66. And from what I understand, it's supposed to be either largely or completely a single-player game. That is exciting on its own, because single-player game. I mean, Skyrim maybe, you know, I'm hoping it's kind of, I don't expect it to be exactly like that, but I'm hoping they kind of give you some freedom. I don't want a linear story that I complete in 4 hours. You know, I want an open world, sandboxy kind of Star Wars game that which probably means I'm getting a linear story that I'll complete in 4 hours. And then EA will make you DLC it. You know, I don't know. I'm a little jaded with EA, especially because we've had one game from them their entire time. Battlefront. Yes, I realize there's Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, but they're like the same game. Honestly, they're like, that's like saying if Fantasy Flight was the only people that could make Star Wars games, and they made X-Wing and then they made X-Wing 2.0. Well, they're two different games. I'm like, yeah, one's basically a patch of the other one. Battlefront 2 is basically an upgrade to Battlefront 1. I mean, they're not that different. I want like different games like we used to have under LucasArts. You know, I want like Jedi Knight, and also Empire at War, and also Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron. The N64 versions, and there used to be so many different Star Wars games, over-the-shoulder third-person shooters, flight simulators, arcade-style flight simulators like Rogue Squadron, and then computer-style like X-Wing and TIE Fighter and those type of games. And you know, like I want multiple genres of games. I want multiple studios all competing and working for these things too. Like let's let some indie people make Star Wars games, because they're going to pour their heart and soul into this, and we're going to end up with a truly great product that's not designed to nickel and dime people to death. And I mean, I'm in a good place right now where I can afford to, you know, to spend a few nickels and dimes on a game if it's good. But that's just it. Like, I just feel like EA is not really even trying it. It was like, oh, well, you know what? Here's Anakin Skywalker. I'm like, okay, but I'd rather have a new game than you put one new character into the game every 6 months and want to charge me like $30-40, or I don't know how much it would cost to unlock it with real money. I hate that. I hate that. It's not good enough for me to. It's not enough for me to want to spend real life money on. Like if it was a full blown expansion, that's one thing. But like one character that you might not even get to play anyway if you don't get the points to use them first in the match. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't like what EA is doing. Am I working Star Wars Celebration? Yeah, I will probably be working Star Wars Celebration. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but like I'm like signed up for it, and I did get like a partial confirmation. So I bought a plane ticket, so I'm going to Chicago one way or another. Whether they let me in or not is a different thing. Yeah. But let's see. I missed a couple of questions, so let me scroll back through. Luke didn't die. He ascended. Well, maybe. I mean, that's kind of what death is, right? I mean, death is just the next step on the journey. I think that applies to this life, too. I mean, we're all stardust, right? I don't mean that in a freaking gnat. Ah, gotcha. All right. A new Armada player here. What's up with the Rebel and Imperial 1 squadrons dropping in and out of stock? So here's what happens. I'll talk about this the best that I know how, which is limited. They've ordered reprints of the Rebel and Imperial fighter squadrons. They've been in the queue to be reprinted for like years, and they finally reprinted them. I don't know if they got like partial shipments, and because Fantasy Flight can get stuff before the distributors get stuff. That's how they're able to send out things like review copies. That's how they're able to have demo kits, and that's how they're able to have things at conventions. Like, for example, if the Super Star Destroyer hasn't shipped by April yet, or is getting close to being shipped, I bet you they will have one, and I'm really hoping they have one at Celebration. Maybe they'll have it at Adepticon too. But I'm more so hoping that we get our first look at it at Celebration, because what I expect that I'll be teaching Armada, so I will basically be unveiling the SSD. If that's the case, I don't know if that's. I have no idea. Again, I'm really in the dark about how this whole thing's going down. Only thing I can tell you is based off of doing other cons for FFG in the past, they've given me some leeway to kind of run the Armada tables how I see fit. Obviously, I'm giving demos and trying to get people through and stuff, but I was able, at this last Gen Con, I was able to get some more stuff. I was instead of just the core set, because that was the problem at last year's celebration. It was just the core, or not last year, but 2 years ago. It was just the core set, and I'm like, all right, a 6x3 table is taking up a lot of real estate on this floor, and all you got out here is one victory for the Imperial player, one victory, and then a Nebulon and a CR90 for the Rebels. Like, you need to have at least two core sets worth of stuff, or some of these other expansions. Let people see what an Imperial Star Destroyer looks like. So they took my advice, and then Gen Con came out, and we had a Chimera and an MC-75 and a Squadron Pack too, Rogues and Villains, along with the core set. So now you had a little bit of variety, and it made it for a much better experience. I actually enjoyed teaching it more when I can talk about more stuff than just the core set. I expect that because you guys all, and as a community, we all came together and got on the Star Wars show, which is going to probably be doing live again from Celebration this year, since we got the SSD featured on the Star Wars show by not just one or two people, but a lot of people, that there will be some incentive to showcase this Super Star Destroyer at Celebration. And so I'm hoping that we'll actually have it set up for demos so people can actually battle the Super Star Destroyer at the FFG booth. Really hoping for that. And FFG, FFG, if you're watching, or if anybody's watching that is, in the know for all of that, let's make that happen. I think we can get an SSD on the table at Star Wars Celebration. Be fun. Of course, now it may come out before that. It may come out late March. Oh, it's been officially pushed back to Q2, and the only way it would come out before that if it was like the first week of Q2. So I don't think it's going to be out by April. I think it's going to be late April, maybe early May. So we'll see. But the good thing also is that if it is at Celebration, I'll be bringing you guys some close-up video coverage of this beautiful thing. All right. What is my favorite Armada build I have ever played? Wow. I don't know about ever played, because I've played a lot of builds. My current favorite, I've been running Architans a lot, but and I've had a lot of success running Architans. But I think my favorite one is like a mixed Architans build. It's actually a tag list, and I don't know if I have it saved. So I'm going to see if I have it saved, because I really, really enjoyed this list. Let's see. Tag Nita? Oh, is that it? Yes! Okay. This is it. Oh, there was no squadrons in this build. It was a squadron-less build. I'm going to put this actually in. I'll put a link to it in chat. But it's a Tag Nita build. It's using Tag, who is, and one of the things that makes it one of my favorite lists right now is the fact that it doesn't. It's not too common. People don't run Tag a lot, so people don't expect a whole lot. But putting Nita on a Simoon with Tag, I can spend that evade. I have an evade that I can also use at long range, so I can spend it on offense and defense, lose it, then get it back with Tag. And then it's Turbo Laser reroute circuits for my Architans. Also, I get those back with Tag. I've got a Jerk Gazanti in there with 2 guaranteed to scatter. Can lose that, get that back with Tag. A lot of cool stuff that I can do with Tag in that case. So that is that's probably my favorite build. I've only really run it for one tournament, so I need to fly it a little more. But I had a really good success with that build. Let's see. All right, I missed some more. All right. Let's see. Boom. A Telltale Star Wars game. That could be pretty fun. That could be interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Telltale games. I played 1 or 2 of them. I remember playing through the Walking Dead one for a little bit, although it's kind of hard with some of those mature titles, because I could do that when my kids were like babies, but then as they start to grow up and they comprehend things, I have to be very careful about the games that I would play. but those, Telltale games require a lot of time commitment, and so I'm personally a bigger fan of the games I can just like jump into, play for a little bit, and then jump out of. So like Hearthstone and Overwatch are two of my favorite games for playing just kind of casually, because I can just jump in, play a few rounds, jump out. Don't require me, like if I go 2 weeks without playing, no problem. I'll just hop back in and play again. Battlefront 2 has free DLCs every month. The characters, oh no, I get that the character, you can download the patch of the character for free, but if you want to play the character, like if I want to play as Skywalker right now, I have to unlock him for like 40,000 credits or however much that is, and I don't have that much. I have never had that much. Granted, I don't play, again, like I don't play Battlefront 2 a whole lot. I don't play any video games a whole lot. That's the thing. I have some time here and there. I'll log on. I'll play like a match or maybe two if I have a lot of time. But that's only going to earn you like what, 100 credits or something. Like you need 40,000 or so to unlock. So if you play Battlefront 2 a lot, if that's like your #1 game, then they're probably doing things that are going to appeal to you, and that's fine. But what they're not appealing to is the people that just want to play casually. Because now if you want to play those new characters, you have to buy them. You have to spend real money. And I don't like that, like, whereas, let me compare it to Overwatch, which just drops new heroes every couple of months, and they're instantly available to you. The only thing is, like, if you want to buy skins, the real money stuff is for fluff, so if you want to buy skins or loot boxes or whatever for cosmetic stuff, that's one thing. But just having access to even play as the character, that's where I'm less... I think if games want to do that, they should be free-to-play games. Like League of Legends, you can either earn currency or buy currency for like some of their characters. But the game is a free-to-play game, so I have less of an issue with that. I actually haven't played League of Legends in a long time. It's a fun game. Any speculation on Epic and X-Wing 2.0? No. I kind of hope they hold off on it for a little bit longer. Even though Epic is super fun, I'm just hoping they kind of wait until... I don't think they need to prioritize that right now. With having 7 factions to kind of get balanced, I think they need to focus on just, like, let's focus on Wave 5 and 6 and see how... And probably by Wave 6, you'll have enough ships for every faction that you have a pretty wide open meta with a lot of diverse lists, even for the hyperspace format, for all 7 factions. And also, hopefully by that time, we will have Armada back into getting something new, maybe a 2.0, maybe a 1.5, maybe at least a whole proper wave. Like something new for the Rebels, like something that kind of highlights Armada again. But also, we just don't even have Clone Wars announced for Legion yet. Granted, Legion's not hurting for content. Like Legion gets new stuff. They get a new expansion, 2 new expansions like every month. So like Legion's doing great. But there's just a lot of other games that need attention. Imperial Assault hasn't gotten, I think they're done. I don't know. I mean, they're getting digital content, so they're getting updates that way. But then again, until they say it's done, it's not. Descent, of all games, got a new expansion. Descent just got another expansion announced. Can you believe that? The game has been dead for years, or quote unquote dead, right? So, yeah, this just goes to show you it's never over until they straight up tell you it's over. Do I still play Star Wars miniatures from Wizards of the Coast? No, I do not still play it. I have never played it. I did buy the Wizards of the Coast AT-AT, but I bought that at a flea market because I just thought it was cool. I just wanted to have it. All right, let's see. All right. Would I like to see any of the Hutt Cartel's ships for Scum? Yeah, I think the Star Jewel would be really cool for Scum, and if we're talking X-Wing 2.0. I think that would be a really cool one. Which makes me think, when they announced Scum, everybody thought, well, what's going to be the big ships? And I did a lot of predictions for the wild card, Talon Card's ship from Heir to the Empire, which made me stop and think, we haven't seen Talon Card. There's a lot of stuff from Heir to the Empire we haven't seen. Heir to the Empire is probably, like the premiere, like it was the introduction into the EU, right? For stories. So like all the characters in there just became very, very well known. Mara Jade introduced there, Talon Card, Thrawn, Paleon. A lot of important characters are introduced in the Thrawn trilogy. So, I'm like, well, what are they waiting for? All right, why haven't they? And they proved in Rebels that they can pull characters from here, and they didn't stop with Thrawn. They also name dropped Paleon in the series finale. So, like, okay, so what's going to happen with Talon Card? What's going to happen with Mara Jade? I think they're going to, and Mara Jade especially, because outside of Thrawn, she's probably like the number one, or at least was maybe the number one requested EU character to come back. She may have been, even more so than Thrawn, but I think I would have put her, like, Thrawn first and her as number 2. So right now, she's probably easily the number 1 most requested EU character to show up. So where is she, right? I have a feeling that they're going to save a character like her or Talon Card for something big. Like, they're saving this for like a big guns thing. Maybe she'll get introduced in The Mandalorian, but obviously she will have changed. She's not going to be, trying to kill Luke Skywalker, or maybe she will. I don't think so, though. I think what I think is going to happen, I think they're going to do something like with Ezra, and I think it'll be tied to Thrawn. This way Timothy Zahn can still be working on those characters since he introduced them all. Because if they do any books about what happened with Ezra and Thrawn, they can also talk about Talon Card and Mara Jade. So I think Mara Jade is going to be showing up in whatever happens with Thrawn and Ezra, whether it be books, TV, movies, or whatever. I think Mara Jade will get introduced there. I think she will try to kill Ezra, so transposing, like, basically taking her storyline where she was trying to kill Luke and kind of morphing that enough to make it work with Ezra. They'll have to change some details, like who sent her out to try to kill Ezra, etc. She might not be the hand of the Emperor, or maybe she is. I don't know. And then Talon Card would probably be involved in that, playing like the Hondo Anaka role, or vice versa. Hondo is kind of playing the Talon Card role, right? So you don't want them to overlap, but you don't want Talon Card to meet Hondo, because they're like almost the same character. I mean, they're different, but they play a similar role in a story. And so I could see Talon Card, and Mara Jade showing up in some future movie. Maybe that's the Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones. Maybe that's the trilogy that they're going to make. Maybe that's going to end up dealing with Thrawn. But I don't think so, though. I think a lot of people expect them to go back and do an Old Republic. But is that really just because they did, Game of Thrones, which is, medieval? Like, Old Republic isn't medieval, though, so I don't know. If they drop Mara Jade in Episode 9, I don't know. I might be disappointed, just because I kind of want her. I don't think I'll be upset to see her regardless, but I don't think we're gonna see Mara Jade in Episode 9. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to see her go after Ezra, and I want to kind of get that Heir to the Empire kind of taste. But maybe they'll wait and they'll just do a straight up Heir to the Empire trilogy, like, because they can totally make Legends movies, right? Marvel has different universes. You've got the X-Men in their own universe. You got the Fantastic Four in their own universe. You have the Avengers in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. You had Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, which has lots of different universes. So Marvel has lots of different universes, and they can make movies in different universes. And I think that's one thing that will happen in the future. I think after Endgame, we're going to have kind of the door open for different universes worth of movies. Disney could totally do that at some point. I think they definitely want to establish that sequel trilogy as like their trilogy, then that there's going to be a lot of other stuff that kind of branches out from that. But at some point, maybe 10 years from now, I think they'll maybe come back and make a Thrawn trilogy series of movies. I think that could be cool. I'd be down for it. It'd be good to do after a long break. If they get to a point where they're like, okay, we're going to let Star Wars rest for a couple years, that would be all right. Like, it would be a good, like, all right, guys, countdown to Heir to the Empire movie, summer 2024 or summer 2029 or something like that. Not summer, December. I prefer my Star Wars movies in December. It makes it more of a Merry Christmas for me. That's me. Do you guys have gaming clubs outside of gaming shops? I mean, we have them on Facebook. I guess, but no, pretty much most of gaming takes place in the gaming shops. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wind this thing down, and yeah, just want to do a little live stream. I will be in Texas next week, so I might do another live stream from there because I'm gonna be a little bored. So I will talk to you guys later, and that's about all I got. So unless we got any more. Oh, all right. Let me hold on. Let me look up this tie image real quick, as I didn't look at it yet. Let me pull up my email. Oh, that's the tie echelon. That looks really cool, actually. That looks really cool. It looks like a troop transport. It looks like a cross between a TIE fighter and a troop transport. So that would totally fit into X-Wing. Yeah. It's kind of got the interceptor style wings. But then the question is, it's probably a First Order craft. And so it looks like it's got the front section that the Upsilon has. So it can definitely land troops out of the front. So that's not bad. I figure that, you know, like what in X-Wing you had all these shuttles, but then you also had like the TIE bomber that could be outfitted to carry some troops also. So it might make for a good, you know, light. Yeah, it's like a cross between the Rogue One shuttle and Darth Vader's TIE. I can see that. But yeah, that's pretty. That's going to show up. You know what's going to happen? That's going to be in Episode 9. That will be in Episode 9. That's why they're taking that stuff down, because they don't want to spoil that before Star Wars Celebration. It'll probably be in the trailer. That's why. Oh well, cat's out of the bag. It's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's probably just standard procedure for them. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. The Resistance show ships in X-Wing. Yeah, I think those will make it. The problem is, like, what factions do you give them to? You know, because they're not aligned with anybody, and they're certainly not scum because they're fighting against the pirates. So you're gonna have. I think you need to wait a little bit longer and see where all these aces end up, because you have so many different aces. They may not all end up working for the Resistance. You know, some of them may work for the Resistance. Some of them may splinter off and work for the First Order. Griff, or whoever that Imperial guy. It's a shame I don't even know his name, because they don't focus on these aces like hardly at all. You know, like the aces should have been in space by now, like having dogfights with First Order TIE fighters. Like that's what where the show should have been. I think we're gonna have to wait until season 2 before we get that kind of, you know, good quality space action. But I'm still waiting for T-85s too. Still got my Mel Miniatures T-85 though. All right. Galaxy's Edge is being revealed. Yeah. Well, if it's First Order and it's going to be in Galaxy's Edge, then it kind of is a spoiler for Episode 9. But a spoiler that a minor spoiler. Like, technology isn't usually that big of a spoiler. Usually plot lines are spoilers. The only time I think technology was a big spoiler was when Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber was shown. You know, like, because that was the first time something like that had been on screen, and that was like, oh my gosh, a huge reveal. And they really shouldn't have shown it in the trailer. I should have gotten to the movie theater thinking that Darth Maul had a regular single red lightsaber, and then at the end, you know, that last fight scene, and he goes, it should have blown everybody away. They shouldn't have spoiled that. Trailers show too much, though. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will catch you guys later. Hopefully, look for, and tomorrow I think the Bat Rep will go live of the Legion Pathfinders stuff, so watch for that as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.